dostlar oynaylik hiç kimi chatta kalmasın. Kimler dostlar oynaylik hiç kimi chatta kalmasın. Kimi mayli kimde bolsa koyu benim oynasın.
Brant is an excellent single-target DPS character who also provides team-wide healing and shielding. Additionally, he has an extension effect that perfectly suits Changli. In terms of damage, in the current version, even with minimal effort, the captain can deliver outstanding single-target damage. With no cooldown restriction on his enhanced skill, adjusting the combat approach slightly allows him to unleash 2 massive anchors in one rotation, showcasing a remarkably high potential ceiling. Even for solo play, he offers an extremely smooth and comfortable experience. Behind the captain's exceptional combat feel lies a meticulously designed aerial attack module. Upon closer analysis, it becomes evident that the developers have put an extraordinary level of thought into his mechanics. Hello everyone, I'm Mianbei. In this Brant guide, we'll stick to our principle of avoiding redundant translations. We'll start with the basics, then move on to advanced techniques, covering everything step by step to help you master the captain. If you find this guide helpful, don't forget to leave a comment and drop a like to support Mianbei. Alright, as promised, let's set sail. Brant's playstyle can be broken down into 3 key steps. Activate, ultimate, build up energy, consume energy. Brant's ultimate skill is mainly used to enhance himself, rather than directly dealing damage. After activating the ultimate, spam normal attacks to quickly fill up the Bravo. Once the energy bar is full, unleash enhanced skills to deal massive damage and generate a large amount of concerto. Overall, his playstyle is simple and beginner-friendly, making it easy to unleash powerful combos with minimal effort. Watching once is never as good as trying it yourself. If possible, Blanket highly recommends that you set aside the detailed skill descriptions for now, launch the game, and practice the basic rotation together with me. Let's get hands-on experience and master Brant step by step. Activate ultimate gives Brant will appear from the air. Perform for consecutive normal attacks, gives press normal attack 4 times to land on the ground. Perform a heavy attack, Rhapsodic Riff. Press the normal attack once more to trigger the heavy attack Rhapsodic Riff. At this point, the energy bar is full, and the enhanced skill icon lights up. Unleash the enhanced skill gives. This will fully charge the concerto circle. Use Echo gives finally. Cast Echo skill, then switch characters as needed. Following this attack rotation, we can break down the core mechanics of the captain. For those who have already acquired 4 Brant, you might have noticed that his signature weapon's main stat is energy regen. This is because Brant gains a significant attack boost based on energy regen. When energy regen exceeds 150%, every 1% energy regen grants 12 attack, up to a maximum of 1560 attack during his ultimate's 12-second buff window. Every 1% energy regen instead provides 20 attack, allowing for a maximum boost of 2600 attack. Now that we understand Brant's reliance on energy regen, let's move on to his optimal build and synergy choices. If you have drawn the Unflickering Valor, you can pair it with the Tide-Breaking Courage set and equip to 3-cost Echo that provide energy recharge. This setup alone, without relying on any substats, allows you to reliably reach 251% energy recharge. Triggering the 5-piece effect of the Tide-Breaking Courage set grants a 15% attack boost and a 30% damage increase, with 3 additional energy recharge substats totaling is greater than or equal to 29%. You can reach the 280% cap. However, in practice, there's no need to forcefully max out at 280%. Anything within the 250% to 280% range is optimal. Considering the captain's primary role as a DPS character, it's essential to invest in his development. Therefore, it's highly recommended for those aiming to maximize Brant's potential to obtain his signature weapon and pair it with the Tide-Breaking Courage set. This combination ensures optimal performance and synergy. If you truly lack the resources to acquire for Brant's signature weapon, here's an alternative setup. Weapon: equip Tsubaki's signature weapon, Red Spring. Set: use Encore's Pyro Sonata set, Molten Rift. 3-cost Echo. For a solo DPS playstyle, you can consider dual attribute damage Echo. However, if the character is mainly used for quick concerto rotations, given the energy constraints, it's recommended to opt for dual energy recharge 3-cost echo. This setup ensures the character can function efficiently without heavily relying on substats. This alternative setup is merely a last resort and may not provide the most comfortable experience. Prioritizing Brant's signature weapon paired with the tie-breaking courage set is still highly recommended. The reasons for this preference will be discussed in the upcoming team composition section. Based on the previous analysis and energy regeneration needs, we suggest the following setups. Signature weapon: equip the tie-breaking courage set with 2 echo that have energy regen as their main stat. This configuration ensures optimal energy regeneration for your character. Other weapons: use the Molten Rift set paired with 2 energy regen main stat echo. This setup is versatile and should work well in most situations. The reason for primarily using dual energy regen main stats in calculations is that this setup is easier to build and maintain. If you're willing to invest more in farming optimal stats for the captain, you can consider a 3-cost echo setup with 1 energy regen main stat and 1 resonance skill damage bonus for higher damage output. However, in this case, your substats must provide at least 31% energy regen to fully activate the 5-piece effect of the tie-breaking courage set. If energy regen meets the required threshold, this setup will deal slightly higher damage than the dual energy regen setup. If all 5 echo have high energy regen substats, it prevents excessive energy regen overflow from a dual energy setup, resulting in a significant DPS boost. After activating Brant's ultimate, the next step is to accumulate energy. As previously mentioned, the ultimate not only provides an attack boost, but also doubles the rate of energy accumulation. In practice, after using the ultimate, you can continuously press the normal attack button to quickly build up energy. This leads us to Brant's second core mechanic, mid-air attack. Brant primarily attacks while airborne, benefiting from increased resistance to interruption and damage. His aerial attacks have a larger range, making it easier to gather Bravo. In simple terms, whether you press the jump button directly or ascend using the ultimate or skills, as long as Brant is airborne, pressing the normal attack button allows you to perform aerial attacks, enabling extended periods of mid-air combat. This effectively grants Brant an additional set of mid-air attack compared to other characters. Fortunately, Brant doesn't have a double jump. Otherwise, Virgil might feel powerless. Brant's aerial attack is his primary damage-dealing method, with normal attack being rarely used, so we won't go into detail about them. Brant's aerial attacks consist of 4 stages, with the first 3 automatically triggering an additional damage, move a flip backward. The end. You can hold the normal attack button after the first or second aerial attack to trigger a spinning attack, which is also considered part of the normal attack sequence. After the spin finishes, you can seamlessly transition into the next aerial attack. If the first or second aerial attack misses the enemy, Brant will fall to the ground. In this case, simply press the skill or jump button to return to the air and continue attacking. After fully charging the Bravo, it's time to unleash Brant's Return from Ashes. This skill possesses 4 key characteristics. Interruption resistance. The enhanced resonance skill provides a certain degree of resistance to interruption, allowing Brant to withstand most attacks from humanoid enemies. However, it does not grant complete super armor, making Brant vulnerable to strong attacks from large enemies. Targeting high-speed enemies. When facing fast-moving enemies, there's a possibility that the enhanced resonance skill may miss its target. Its attack range isn't as extensive as it might seem, and it leans more towards single-target attacks. Therefore, careful aiming is essential. Anchor damage persistence. The skill's anchor attack has lingering hit detection, meaning it can pass through enemies, potentially hitting multiple foes in its path. Concerto gain. Most importantly, the enhanced resonance skill grants a total of 50 concerto, serving as Brant's primary source for this resource. The energy is awarded in segments. Initial activation. Upon casting, Brant immediately receives 20 concerto. Spinning hits. Each successful hit during the spinning phase grants 3 concerto. Anchor impact. When the anchor strikes the ground, an additional 27 concerto is awarded. If the skill fails to connect with enemies during any phase, the corresponding concerto won't be granted. In summary, to maximize effectiveness, ensure the enhanced resonance skill hits its target and avoid interruptions from powerful attacks. Now that we understand how to play Brant, let's go over some additional details that we haven't covered yet. Skill. Ground activation. When not in an enhanced state, activating the skill causes Brant to ascend into the air, dealing minor damage and granting 10 concerto aerial activation. While airborne, pressing the skill button allows Brant to quickly descend. However, this maneuver offers minimal benefits and is generally not recommended. Intro skill. Aerial presence. The intro skill can be executed mid-air. Upon a successful hit, it replenishes 1/4 of the Bravo. After performing the intro skill, subsequent aerial normal attacks will commence from the second stage of the combo sequence. Heavy attack, Rhapsodic Riff. After performing the 4th aerial normal attack and landing, pressing the normal attack button again triggers a heavy attack Rhapsodic Riff. This move was covered in the earlier basic flow tutorial. For a more advanced approach, after landing from the 4th aerial attack, you can immediately activate the skill to ascend again, followed by executing aerial attacks. Ultimate skill. The ultimate skill itself does not benefit from its own enhancement bonuses, primarily because its damage multiplier is relatively low, and it isn't categorized under normal attack damage. Skill prioritization. Brant's main damage output comes from his enhanced skill, followed by his aerial attacks. Therefore, the skill priority is as follows. Healing and shielding. Brant possesses both healing and shielding capabilities. However, unlike traditional healers, he cannot provide off-field healing to teammates. Each time the Bravo fills by 1/4, it triggers a team-wide heal. Activating the ultimate skill also heals the entire team. Through a full rotation, the total healing amount is approximately 5,000. After the anchor from the enhanced skill lands, it grants the entire team a shield with a value around 9,000, lasting for 30 seconds. Each team member's shield is calculated independently. One member's shield depletion doesn't affect others, which is highly advantageous. While Brant's healing and shielding might not withstand the highest level challenges, they are sufficient for most deep tower environments. It's crucial not to perceive Brant as a traditional healer. He lacks the ability to provide team-wide buffs and enhancements like conventional support characters such Ace. Shorekeeper. Essentially, Brant offers a 20% plus 25% damage amplification and boasts higher personal damage output compared to typical concerto efficiency characters. His healing and shielding are advantageous features, but they don't replace the need for traditional support healers in team compositions. First, we need to analyze his design philosophy. While Brant provides 20% Resonator's fusion damage and 25% resonant skill damage, treating him as a traditional concerto efficiency character is clearly not ideal. Traditional quick conductor characters typically lose their damage potential after executing their rotation and must switch out quickly. However, Brant is different after finishing his initial damage rotation. He can remain on the field and continue dealing damage, making him a solid single-target DPS as well. Therefore, Brant is clearly positioned as a DPS character, who also provides team-wide healing, team-wide shielding, and Resonator's fusion damage and resonant skill damage, his outro skill buff. Not only can he deal damage independently, but he can also integrate into teams that can partially benefit from his concerto buff. For example, he can serve as a substitute for Jatsi in the Carlotta Jatsi team, offering resonant skill damage. With specific techniques, he can also form dual DPS teams with other damage dealers, such as the Jinsi Brant team, showcasing his high potential for development. This diversity in playstyle indicates that Brant was not designed with a sole focus on being a single DPS character. If players attempt to use a Brant Sanhua, Shorekeeper single DPS composition, they will find that Brant's 20% Resonator's fusion damage and 25% Resonance skill damage are almost entirely wasted. In other dual DPS teams, such as the Jinsi Brant team, only half of Brant's concerto buff can be utilized. Thus, whether in single DPs or dual DPs teams, Brant's full potential is never completely realized. So, is there a way to solve this problem? Yes, there is! The solution is to add another DPS one that can fully benefit from Chong-Li's concerto buff while also providing buffs to Brant. This forms the basis of the new triple DPS rotation system. Character A fills the concerto gauge, then switches to character B. Character B does the same and switches to character C. Character C completes the cycle by filling the gauge and switching back to character A. This system ensures that each DPS character fully utilizes available buffs, maximizing team efficiency. Playstyle might already be familiar to many players. It's essentially the AB system that we've discussed multiple times before. The key advantage of this system is that it doesn't require complex axis merging, yet it still enables the team to output the vast majority of its potential damage. The only difference in this version is that it now incorporates mutual buffing. Let's take a fire team as an example. Brant fills the concerto gauge and switches to Changli, providing Resonator's fusion damage, and Resonance skill damage fills the concerto gauge and switches to the new fire DP, providing Resonator's fusion damage and ultimate damage amplification. The new fusion main damage dealer fills the concerto and switches back to Brant, providing Resonator's fusion damage and normal attack damage amplification. This process then repeats in a cycle. From this analysis, the new fire DPS should at least benefit from Changli's ultimate damage amplification, meaning it is likely a character that primarily deals damage through ultimate skills. Additionally, this new fire DPS should be capable of providing Brant with a 20% fire damage buff and a 25% normal attack damage buff through concerto, making it an essential part of the cycle. However, we will need to wait until the character is officially released to confirm the exact mechanics. Now, let's take another look at Brant's role within this new triple DPS rotation system. And it becomes quite interesting. Brant's shielding and healing provide a level of sustain for the entire team, while also allowing him to deal respectable damage on his own. Since Brant does not require intro to quickly activate, he is highly likely to be the first unit to start the rotation in this 3C setup. Compared to traditional outro systems centered around Shorekeeper, we can predict a few key differences. The 3C rotation team will likely have a more stable DPS flow, as each character contributes to the damage cycle. This makes it effective in sustained BS scenarios, such as Whimpering Wastes, where consistent output is preferred over burst damage. Since frequent character swaps are unnecessary, players can shift their focus from executing perfect attack rotations to monitoring enemy patterns and boss movements, making it easier to handle high survivability challenge modes like Tactical Hologram, Calamity. So, before transitioning into future versions, how should we build our team in the current patch? As we've previously mentioned, Brant's Concerto buff provides Resonance skill damage and Resonance skill amplification, which perfectly complements Changli and also serves as a prototype for the future Fire Triple DPS rotation system. Although the effects may seem flashy, the actual gameplay is fairly beginner-friendly, following the standard Changli team rotation. Here's a simple step-by-step guide, so feel free to follow along. Start with the healer. Fill the concerto gauge. Switch to Changli and perform intro entry. Tap normal attack gives use true sight. Charge gives apply the first layer of enflamement. Switch to Brant and activate ultimate. Perform for aerial normal attacks. After landing, use resonance skill to fill the Bravo cast enhanced resonance skill. After landing, use echo. Switch back to Changli and perform intro entry again. Tap normal attack gives use true sight. Charge gives apply the second layer of blazing fire. When Changli's skill lands, tap normal attack gives use true sight. Conquest. Repeat this cycle twice to apply the last 2 stacks of blazing fire. Once blazing fire reaches max of enflamement, unleash heavy attack. Flaming sacrifice. Activate ultimate gives. Use heavy attack. Flaming sacrifice again. Use nightmare motorcycle. Then switch to the healer to continue the rotation. Why is nightmare Inferno Rider placed last? This is a reminder that you should wait for the second enhanced heavy attack to deal damage before switching. However, if you prefer, you can place it earlier. How can we ensure that Brant's anchor attack lands inside the golden circle? How should we sync actions during the warm-up phase? These topics will be covered in the advanced section later. Summary of the core rotation. Healer intro entry gives Changli initiates blazing fire. Brant intro entry gives Changli applies another blazing fire. Complete 4 stacks of blazing fire. Unleash heavy attack. Flaming sacrifice plus ultimate. Use Nightmare Motorcycle and continue the rotation. Since this is covered in every video, some may find it repetitive. But veteran players can treat this as a quick review alongside newer players. Shorekeeper rotation. Keep an eye on the energy bar above the HP bar. Perform for normal attacks to fully charge 1 bar. Hold normal attack to perform a heavy attack, consuming the energy. Repeat the process once more. Finally, use ultimate gives skill, gives echo, and the concerto gauge will be full. If you are mid-rotation and Shorekeeper has received intro, perform 3 normal attacks gives use resonance skill. Perform 3 more normal attacks gives use heavy attack. Finish with ultimate plus echo, and the concerto gauge will be fully charged. Perform 3 normal attacks gives use resonance skill. Activate ultimate gives jump and perform 3 more normal attacks. At this point, the concerto gauge should be full, and you can switch characters. Upon casting the enhanced resonance skill, Brant is forced out of ultimate state, yet he can still deal massive damage even without the ultimate buff. Why? Because the enhanced resonance skill boasts a staggering 1888% multiplier, which is higher than Rover Havoc's ultimate. But here's the most crucial part. This skill has no internal cooldown, so can we land multiple enhanced skills within a single damage rotation for insane burst damage? Absolutely! By executing the double anchor rotation, Brant can land 2 enhanced resonance skills in one cycle, leading to explosive deep basic rotation, expected 52,000 DPS single target. Advanced rotation, expected 56,000 DPS single target. Brant boasts strong single target damage, while his team composition remains relatively budget-friendly. Before the full multi-DPS fire team becomes viable in future updates, this setup serves as a highly cost-effective transition option. Once more fire DPS units are introduced, the gameplay dynamic will likely change significantly. Now, let's walk through a slow, beginner-friendly rotation, so everyone can follow along. Take your time, focus on executing each step correctly rather than rushing. Start with the healer. Charge the concerto gauge until full. Use intro entry to switch to Brant. Brant starts aerial attacks from the second normal attack after intro entry. Hold normal attack to perform a spinning attack. Follow up with the third and fourth aerial normal attacks. After landing, tap normal attack again to trigger heavy attack, Rhapsodic Riff. At this point, Brant should have accumulated at least 3/4 of his Bravo. Switch to Sanhua and charge concerto gauge. Use Senua's skill gives ultimate. Hold normal attack, releasing it when the marker reaches the blue zone on the energy bar to trigger enhanced heavy attack. Use heavy attack or normal attacks to fill the concerto gauge, then cast Darkbird. Use intro entry to switch back to Brant. Now, Brant's Bravo should be full, and his resonance skill icon will be highlighted. Use enhanced resonance skill. Wait for the anchor to land, then activate ultimate. Ultimate doubles energy accumulation speed, so perform for aerial normal attacks. Land and immediately cast resonance skill, which will refill the Bravo. Use the second enhanced resonance skill. Once the second anchor lands, switch characters and repeat the rotation. If using C for Rover, Echo is cast early, before transformation occurs, and is already off cool. Overall strategy: pre-charge Brant's first enhanced resonance skill. Let Brant receive all buffs from teammates. Quickly unleash 2 enhanced resonance skills in a short burst window. Advanced notes: both Brant's teams have a high skill ceiling. Players can experiment with aerial dodges to optimize damage while maintaining their attack sequence. For Ancient Dragon Echo users, cancel into dodge after any aerial normal attack, or insert it before switching to set. For Fire Echo users, after the first landing, perform 3 normal attacks to maintain good coverage. Next, let's talk about Resonance Chain Enhancement. Here, we'll use the standard rotation of Captain and Changli as an example for calculations. As you can see, the first 3 chains provide a significant boost in performance. Chain 1 creates a large area immobilization effect during the Captain's anchor lift, significantly improving the gameplay experience. No more worries about missing the anchor. The 60% damage boost it provides is applied tied to the captain's damage bonus multiplier, which the captain often lacks. This results in a significant and practical improvement in performance. Chain 2 grants a 30% crit rate boost to aerial attacks and the Great Anchor, with an uptime of over 80%. Since the captain's signature weapon doesn't provide crit rate or crit damage, these stats are something Brant sorely lacks. To be honest, the 30% crit rate alone is already a straightforward and powerful boost, but Chain 2 doesn't stop there. It has a second effect after the captain grants outro skill to a teammate. When the teammate's skill hits an enemy, the captain can deal 880% of normal attack multiplier damage to the enemy. In a single DPS team, this damage is more of a nice bonus than a game changer. However, in more complex dual DPS teams like Jinxie plus Captain, if you trigger outro skill twice, it can provide 1,760% of normal attack multiplier damage, making the improvement much more noticeable. Chain 3 is a pure numerical upgrade, increasing the skill multiplier by 42%. Nice! An even bigger anchor. Chain 4 provides a slight improvement to survivability, but in terms of damage output, it offers zero increase. It's more of a transitional resonance chain. Chain 5 is a classic filler transitional resonance chain, offering only a 15% boost to normal attack damage, which isn't particularly impactful. Chain 6 provides a 30% increase to aerial attack multipliers and a 30% bonus damage to enhanced attacks. Since these are part of the captain's primary damage sources, this is a straightforward and powerful numerical upgrade. To wrap it up, Brant isn't your traditional healer or sub-DPS. He excels at dealing impressive damage while also providing healing, shields, and high concerto efficiency. From a gameplay perspective, Brant not only performs well in solo play, but also pairs effectively with certain characters, showcasing immense potential for team building. What's impressive is that his current strength is achieved even without a fully developed fire team system. In the future fire triple DPS rotation system, the captain will not only deliver strong damage output but also provide outro skill support to teammates. Additionally, the shields and healing he offers will enhance the team's sustainability and alleviate survival pressure, making him a crucial piece of the puzzle. It's exciting to look forward to how the entire team will perform once the fire triple DPS rotation system is fully realized. With incredibly high playability and team-building potential, you can also directly feel the richness and thoughtfulness of the captain's action design. His gameplay feels fluid and seamless, especially when paired with the purple-flamed, unflickering valor. Seriously, is this the man who plays with fire on the high seas? For players who love the captain, you can truly sit back and enjoy the feast he brings to the table. Next, Mion BI will share some advanced tips and tricks for playing the captain. Feel free to watch based on your needs. If you could subscribe, like, or favorite to support the video, and leave some feedback in the comments or ratings to let me know how you found the content, that would be amazing. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit greedy. Wishing you all the best in acquiring the captain and his signature weapon, and may you soon become a Wuthering Waves pro. Thank you all for your support.